4 levels of worlds. The levels of the souls that come from Bria, what's called the level of the throne of glory, usually with the teachers, the rabbis, the masters who thought, who could use their minds to pierce the outer layers and to understand deep things. They knew who they were. V'nishamot mebechinat hayitzira, and the yitziratic souls, hayu oskim b'masau matan. They were businessmen. V'hem hayu tamchin deoraita. They would support the Torah. V'nishamot habayim mi'asiyah, and the Asiatic were ameh haaretz, were the simple folk. So it's a little bit stratified. The simple folk, the businessmen, and the Talmidei Chachamim. It's a little bit, maybe not absolute, but it's just an interesting statement on the Baal Shem Tov's part. And everything was a little bit more clear who a person was, and he was drawn towards things, and he knew his life. His lifeline was a little bit more laid out for him. There weren't as many choices. Just like now you go into a modern store, a modern Dwayne or whatever, even a normal like pharmacy, forget it. You know, a carpet thing on the way here, we saw a carpet store. It's like huge. With like carpets, who can choose what kind of carpets you want? Everything is, yeah, whatever you want. In those days, this is one carpet. Right? So everything is multi-variegated now. So multi-variegated, it's... So also our souls. That's what he's saying. It's interesting. He says, Aval bedorot ha'elu, but in our generations, ba'im ha'neshamot mu'uravim bevichinotehim. That all the souls are coming mixed. Asher bechol bechinat neshama yachol liyot kol bechinot ha'elu be'irbuvia. That every single one of us, we could be an incredible mix of all kinds of weird stuff and all kinds of great stuff, and we don't know, like, who am I? Why did you make me like this? I used to say, like, it's a little bit like weird the way you make me. Could you a little bit normal? Like, why do I have to be like this? Okay. Lachen avodatam gam ken hu shelo bebechinat seder. Therefore, the work that these neshamot of these present generations have is not an orderly work. It's not like A, B, C, D. Right? It's like Z, D, M, A. I even have this. I knew I had gotten level D, and I had passed B and C, and they were putting me back, and I felt something like this. Okay, being from where I am and everything else. So, Pam yachol lidbonen biyichudo. A person can be on the level they can. Well, he's talking now to people who are learning Torah. You can be in the level where you are contemplating God's oneness. Whoa! I tried to do this in one of my talks this trip, and I asked their permission. I said, "Do you want to contemplate God's oneness?" And nobody answered. I was in San Diego, and nobody answered, and I didn't. I only went so far. Because if you're willing to, there's a way you can actually go very far. The ideas lead one to the other, and you can actually build a complex construct and understand to some extent what it means, the awesomeness of God's oneness. But the other times, but sometimes it is not going to come. You're not there. Don't even try. Asher al ken mukhrach adam livchon benafsho bekol afanim. ואם לא תגיע אליו הבחינה הזאת, יעבוד עבודתו באופן השני. And so therefore, you have to it's like Rabbunim Pshisk says, sometimes they're always switching the game on you. And you have to be very, very loose enough to be able to do what needs to be done today, what's not what you did yesterday, and it's not what you're going to do tomorrow. Every day calls, you have to be extremely versatile. And if you're stuck in the mud and only want what you want, it's going to be very hard. Okay, so that's a fantastic piece. In the introduction by Rabbi Daniel Frisch, he brings that quote there. I haven't seen the original, but it really seems to be a word for word. You want to take what time is it? It's already 9 o'clock. And if we take a break, then it would have to be that we'd have to come back in no more than 15 minutes. And then I'd go another half hour.
Yeah.
And,
More.
is that okay? No? Why, we'll just go on straight?
Yes.
No, we can take a break. But he said a half hour, and I said, or more.
Oh, or more.
It just came out of me. I don't know.
No, we can allowed to make jokes. You're allowed to make jokes. We have to have Torah is wonderful, right? So we can be happy and say, oh, you're going to speak a half hour? Oh, okay. Right.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Will there be an opportunity to ask questions?
Yeah, in fact, right now.
I'm just blown away by everything. But one thing I want to ask, the most recent thing that you spoke about, has to do with why is this and not that, or whatever happened to in the Garden of Eden, where the reason why they did something was because they were given choice. Right? They didn't have to do one thing or another because they did one thing or another. It's because they had the choice to choose from another. I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
But keep talking just a minute, okay? Just tell me what you're getting at.
It just, everything ties in, to me anyway. And when you were talking about the whole essence of things, you know, where you don't have to start from the beginning, you just keep going around. I think of it as a natural continuity. If you come in through the back door, you can always go in through the window near the end, and it's constantly starting over, and there's no decision as to the end or the beginning. It's just a constant going around.
But what am I doing? Why is this? You're asking why is it like this?
No,
or you're
I'm
asking,
just saying something I've...
You just,
you know,
it's the sense that you have of it.
And as you keep going around, little by little, hopefully you'll reach higher levels.
Beautiful. Yes, for sure. Again, maybe that's the whole answer of why Hashem gives us constantly chances to come into similar situations, even over periods of different lifetimes, is to give us a chance to get higher. And the idea behind this is that He could give us perfection. The Ramchal writes about this, and others, of course. It's very clear Hashem could give us perfection, but He prefers not to. He wants us to be the children who create our own greatness. And therefore He gives us, as a teacher, as a true educator, He gives us difficult things, but it's not because He's against us, it's because He wants us to come to our greatness. That's a very big thing, I think, that explains why we have to go through so many different things. It's basically what we're trying to do is to give a perspective on how to look at life from a godly point of view, and not get stuck in complaining so much about what's wrong with me and what's wrong with my life and why doesn't God treat me better. To get a little bit more of a healthier place to live our lives from.